Congratulations. You are going to become toppers. No, I mean it. I mean it. So far you have maintained the consistency and continue to maintain the same consistency. See, after writing 5 essay tests and 5 ethics tests, you might have noticed huge difference. One, the fear of approaching a writing essay would have reduced a bit or might have totally eliminated also because in the first test was only one essay topic and then in the second test you wrote 2 essays in 3 hours. So I think that was a new introduction to you, yourself introducing to new way of writing those who didn't have mains experience. Right. So addressing 2 full-length essay topics in 3 hours. In the first test, you might have faced multiple challenges. First essay, you might have given more time. Second essay, less time. The quality might have reduced in the second essay. The first essay, it would have taken more time to do, brainstorming, recollect ideas, examples. So the very essence of core batch is to give, this simulated environment, these practice sessions. There is a huge difference practicing from the comfort zone, right? Comfort of your room, home, library, cabin, and coming to classroom, sitting here in examination like condition and answering these it makes a huge difference because the thinking process is different here, right? You're not in your comfort zone. You have to force yourself. You have to, I mean, it's very intense, the thinking, right? When you are here. And then organizing all your thoughts, structuring it, and then trying to bring cohesiveness, the coherence in the way you organize your ideas, whether it is in GS answer or in essay. The one who does it multiple times in a simulated environment, in classroom like this, within a competition like this, you will see this exercise doing wonders to you, especially after prelims next year, right? Because in those 2.5 months gap, you will feel so relaxed in the sense that the efforts the other people put during that time, to improve the speed, to improve all these, the speed of their thinking process, organize their thoughts, you would have done it already, achieved it. So in that moment, it's all about the little extra effort, which fetches you those little extra mark in each and every paper to become a topper, right? Because most of the people achieve competency with respect to certain base year. So GS1, after completing the entire syllabus paper, doing decent amount of practice, without much practice, you can go and score maybe 65 to 70 marks. GS1 I'm talking about. Maybe GS3 also around 70 marks. Right. Now the challenge is to increase 70 to 90 or 95. Right. In paper 1 and paper 3. If it is paper 2, maybe till 120. So 90 is the base. Paper 2. Paper 1, let's say 70. Paper 3, 70. Ethics, again, I keep 100 as the base. I think 100 is the minimum that you should actually score without much practice and preparation. So now to get that extra 20, 30 marks is what you are actually laying the foundation currently. You have to be mindful about it because when you are in this routine, right, when it is intense, repetitive, you tend to feel that, you have already achieved something, some amount of, right, competency or, efficiency. And then you may try to take a pause or take a break or stop this, deviate for something else. So never do that. And this competition is all about, bridging that gap in the end, especially between prelims and mains. During that time, I see people again starting from the scratch because they would have taken 3-4 months gap before prelims from all these answer writing exercises. Most of the competition that is there in Delhi do this blunder, mistake, right? 3 to 4 months gap because by March you will be totally occupied with the prelims preparation. March, April, May. These 3 months, you are not going to write answers. You are not going to write anything related to optional, right? So, but I believe that even till April end, you should be involved in some kind of mains preparation, some kind of answer writing, some kind of essay writing, right? But if you've already done lots of practice here, the revision of the same, the first core test to the last core test. So we have kept March last week, I think this time. Feb, yeah, 8th Feb batch. Because earlier I used to keep it till end of, April when I used to prepare timetable. I strongly believe in that even now. But the students panic and only one or two people will be coming and writing. So even in the month of March. So I felt because your psychology is like that. But whatever test you write till February 8th, you have to revise them and then again continue to practice, right? And I'm a strong believer in mains practice, strong mains practice to crack prelims examination, right? So I don't disassociate or compartmentalize separate prelims preparation, mains preparation. Mains is deepening of your ideas, deepening of your knowledge, right? Deepening of your concepts. So if it continues, and you should choose those questions and topics which totally overlap with the prelims syllabus post January or February, right? And continue to practice. The practice doesn't mean writing full length answer or full length test. It can be mere brainstorming, writing a skeleton, right? So continuously keeping in touch with the core topics of the mains. The moment you do well in prelims, immediately you would have gained huge advantage, because those 2.5 months is not the time where you again struggle with these things for first 15-20 days, right? From the very go itself, your aim is to cross 850 plus marks in the entire mains from all the subjects. So that should be the ambition. Immediately after prelims, 850 plus is your ambition. 260, 270 in your optional, 140 plus in essay, 130 plus in ethics, right? On an average, from all four GS papers, 450 should be your ambition, right? Earlier we used to tell 500 and all, it has come down now. Somewhere around 450 should be your ambition. 450 is very difficult. 430 is a very good score now. So, and then essay around 140, end up getting 120, 125, right? Optional. Combined together, it will come somewhere around 850 only. So, I think this year mains result, when it comes out, the final. So, I think 850 or 860 would be the topmost score in the mains examination, right? The reason is for all essay topics. This year, all essay topics are philosophical in nature. Every time when there are more philosophical topics, the score comes down in the essay paper. It has been the trend, last, do you agree with me in this? The last 5 years, if you see the nature of the topics, the more abstract, the more subjective they become, the scores come down. The highest score in essay paper is somewhere now around 140, I think. It was 145, 150 earlier. So this time it may be between 135 to 140, right? So, but overall, the score will come down by around 10 marks. The one who scored 120 last year, if they have written, 24 mains, if they write the same quality essay, they might get 110 this year. That's what I'm meaning, right? So you have to be mindful of these things. The examination trend will continue to be same. Now suddenly they will not introduce topics related to climate change or smart agriculture, right? Or something related to media, democracy, a direct topic on women empowerment in essay, right? The questions will continue to be those which will test your analytical thinking, critical thinking, right? Your ability to handle these, abstract topics and contextualize them to the real world issues, right? And make an argument. So the original argument. So all these qualities are thoroughly tested in essay, ethics, and interview. These three are the pillars for your success. So, staying away from these three and trying to focus so much on, the only on the subjects part is a big mistake people commit in nowadays. So in the initial core batch inauguration, orientation also, I think I talked about importance of hobbies and interest and everything. I don't think you are pursuing them, right? I don't think you are reading any literature or any. Can anybody explain what is macroscopic quantum tunneling? Okay. Okay. Why did I ask this question? What? Okay. Who got the Nobel Prize in physics? Martinez. He's the main guy. Martinez is the main guy. Yeah, I'm just asking. I don't know the technical things. I was pursuing MSc organic chemistry and I was reading quantum chemistry at that time. I was so much interested, but I left the organic chemistry in between. So my basics are very weak. But I'm so much passionate, interested in knowing, everything related to quantum nowadays. I keep watching podcasts related to quantum computing, quantum chips. Now this quantum macroscopic, because microscopic quantum computing was discovered, and then now they extrapolated and made it macroscopic quantum tunneling. What he was saying is, so in quantum physics, what happens? Electrons in a very low probability they escape, and then they cross certain barriers, right? And you have to do it multiple times, billions of times, to ensure that your quantum chip can be prepared in the real physical world. So something that research resulted in the creation of the quantum chip, the current quantum chip. And then yesterday I watched Jensen Huang, NVIDIA's CEO. So there was this, talk related to new developments in his own company. So they are tying up with Nokia for 6G, right? So, and then Nokia is second largest manufacturer and researcher in the field of telecommunications, network, hardware. And I didn't know that. I came to know. I was wondering where is Nokia nowadays, right? We think it has gone off the map, technology map, but it exists still as a billion-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar company. And then Nvidia wants to become $5 trillion company now. So, and then the second second development is that Nvidia has tied up with 8 companies which are manufacturing quantum chips, which are investing in quantum computing. And then third development was he has tied up with the Department of Energy, the US government, and Nvidia, right? And all these, at the core of all these things is AI and quantum computing, right? So next level of research and next level of coming up with new products, everything. So that is a 2 hour talk, right? But I watched only 20 minutes talk where it was condensed, and they talked about only these 3 areas. And within 20 minutes, there are lots of technical details. Now, whether you come from engineering background, humanities background, medical background, commerce, right? I think I think watching and reading, watching good podcasts or videos related to only two important areas based on your passion and interest, and reading about them, editorials, articles. I think it will consume not more than 1 hour in your day's time, and you don't have to do it every day, right? So doing that will help immediately after mains. Now people are struggling like what to write, in their DAF, right? So what to write in their DAF? They write frequent things like yoga, meditation, traveling, cooking, and everything, right? But I don't think that will inspire more the interview panel to engage you deeply on some issues of interest, so which are maybe burning topics, issues significant to humanity in general, whether tech, environment, whatever it is, geopolitics or polity, economy. If it is not reflected in your DAF, the questions will be random. The reason why I keep emphasizing on this is that out of 275, you can walk out with 215 marks in 20 minutes in interview, right? I mean, the way examination is structured, it is the pinnacle, it's culmination of everything you've been doing, the interview. You go there, you're smart, you have strong presence of mind, you are so confident, you have perfect clarity about every ounce of knowledge you have gained so far, right? And situational awareness, and then you know what you are saying, right? And you know the purpose of what you are saying, the intention behind it. It is not just for the sake of answering the question. You know that you want to further the conversation, you want to evoke curiosity in them, that thought in your mind while answering some question, right? So these are the things eventually will fetch you sure shot 200 marks in the interview, or even 215, something like that. So any lacking in the mains will be totally balanced in the interview, right? Something might happen with optional, totally unexpected paper, right? You have the capacity to get 280, but that day the paper was unexpected, you might end with 240, So you have to bridge 40 extra marks plus get extra 10 bonus marks. So interview is the place, right? So that thought should always be there in your mind. So out of all your 24 hours, 1 hour you invest in pursuing, especially of course weekly ones playing and going here and there. That is there every day, half an hour or 1 hour. Learn any two new things, again related to something in your syllabus. If you are studying anything related to quantum computing, it is related to computers, the GS3 paper. And now, I mean, it's mind-boggling to see that humanoid robots. That is another area I keep updating myself, watching all the videos. Yesterday itself, Neo, the name of robot, it is already up for sale, $20,000. Complete humanoid robot. It can wash, it can clean, it can do everything for you. In addition to being very intelligent. And Elon Musk, these Optimus robots, he wants to uh, ship 1 million of them by end of uh, 2027 or something. And they are more agile and more this dexterous, the hands. So they're very intelligent, capable. In another 5-10 years, we will have almost you like robot, human like robot. Hmm? No, I'm not sarcastic here. I'm just saying human-like robot. We won't be able to differentiate between you and robot in the future. So almost human-like robot. So we are looking at these things. When these things are the mainstream, around us, because these are going to fundamentally transform everything. So the board will be very curious to know why I'm in suit currently, because I went to an engineering college uh, to deliver a lecture. And I asked the same question, quantum tunneling, and nobody knows. They're all computer science students, data science students, electronics and communication students, right? They don't know about CEO of NVIDIA. Only one guy knew, right? So why are you pursuing engineering, or why are you pursuing civil services if you don't know what to do after the civil service, right? You have to be totally aware of some of the cutting edge. The most again, it is there in the syllabus. It is there in the notification, not in the syllabus, right? That phrase is there. I think current knowledge of thoughts or something is there, right? So the one who is perfectly aware of this is going to be more valuable in interview. So these are the thoughts I wanted to share. Second thing is that don't ignore CSAT papers. You may be expert in CSAT, right? Might have scored 140 in the last prelims, but then again, come and give as a break or something, come and give CSAT. Again, score 140 plus in our marks. Nothing wrong in that, right? So don't think that you are going to save 2 hours by skipping the CSAT test. Same with the prelims, GS. So you give the test and then you analyze it. So giving the test uh, is very important, but what is more important is how you analyze after giving the test, right? Because the intelligence is two things. One is adaptability. Second one is how quickly we learn lessons from our mistakes, right? Combined together, they will take you far. The progress is fast. So people give the test and then ABCD, they calculate and then they ignore. So invest good amount of time, like 3, 4, 5 hours in each test. And I'm sure you will not know everything, right? I don't think you will know all the 100 concepts, maybe 200 plus optional options that are there in each question, right? There is so much to learn in every test, and that is more clinical in terms of preparation, more specific, right? So we would have framed questions. We are not using AI or anything, humans, they are still preparing our question papers. So we would have gone through the important things and prepared the questions. So that is very important. And right now, don't scatter. I mean, don't disperse. Don't go for too many tests now itself, right? Um, like you may start giving like 3, 4 institution now itself. Don't do that. Be good with one test series currently, because it is possible to gain more in-depth knowledge and insights when you trust one source and use it multiple times, and then to test whatever you have gained, whatever you have learned. So to apply that knowledge, apply those skills, you have to go with different samples, and then there also decent amount of revision and decent amount of skills you have to gain. So now itself, if you scatter your sources, your tests and everything, it will all be impartial. I mean, what do you say? Imperfect. It will all be dispersed. Even the knowledge, the depth, you will not be able to gain. Right. So I think in the beginning I had also told about not to chase the quantity. Right. So chase quality, excellence. So don't try to answer all the questions. So go with 2, 3, 4 quality answers, and organically you will be able to write more quality answers in the end. So in the beginning, if you feel like filling the page, writing answer to all questions, I think that is not a good idea, right? So you have to build that resilience. I mean, uh, urge for excellence, right? You write one answer, you want to write a very good answer. In the beginning, it will take 20 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. But that urge, if it is sustained, continued, it will get reduced to 7 minutes or 11 minutes based on the word limit. Right. But if you, second mistake, you should not take extra time to complete the paper. Right. Within 1 hour, whatever number of questions we have given, pressurize yourself, force yourself, right, to think intensely, to come up with better ideas, better examples, right? So that exercise is important. It will make you very smart, right? Over a period of time, you'll, that smartness will be eventually visible to us. The way you filter things, the way you prioritize your points, right? The way you make your the most important points more visible through better presentation, right? And how you make your introduction and conclusion more unique, right? You won't feel like writing just the obvious thing, the first thought that comes to your mind. Eventually, the first thought that comes to your mind is the good thought, right? So in the beginning, it is just the obvious thing. When you repeatedly read better, read quality things, and write, practice regularly, even your initial first thoughts will be of good quality, right? So that is what will again differentiate you, from the competition, and that helps immensely in the interview. I see people saying something everybody knows. When we ask some random question, the first point is what everybody knows, right? What everybody knows should be a passing mention in the end, right? Try to give something new perspective, new idea, new thought. So I hope you're all of you are reading quality content also, right? Not merely some coaching notes or some toppers notes. Refer to, based on each and every test, each and every new question, each and every good question that you come across. uh, you know we might have touched a topic in syllabus from a totally new perspective, or new demand, right? Sometimes that might happen. So then you go back, refer to a standard textbooks, standard books. So try to learn something better, right? Add that to your notes, add that to your answer, when you are analyzing your script, right? So recently also we had very good meeting with evaluators, so to improve the quality even better, to eliminate any kind of mistakes that were happening. Even I have guided with respect to essay. I had a discussion with them. Umesh sir had discussion with ethics essay as well as the GS papers, and Sudeep, Ashish, everyone is having discussion with the evaluation team as well, so that there is consistency in our guidance. Right? I should not be saying something, they should not be doing something else. Evaluators, based on their own understanding, it should be the institutional, whatever guidelines or guidance we have set. So that should be consistent. So we'll take care of all those things. And uh, usually, essay, I have told them to be very strict, right? Very rarely to give someone 60 plus marks. Highly unlikely. Very rarely you will get 60 plus. So if you are getting 60 plus, you are 130 plus in the actual exam, right? And I have given them clear cut instruction. Whenever you come for evaluation, like some of you have here, one or two have come here. These people have come regularly. So I have told what is my expectation, right, when it comes to essay paper. In some cases, ethics also I have talked about. I remember telling him, the ethical justification. Ethics you have written, right? So whenever there is a case study, I see the absence of ethical reasoning, right? The ethical reasoning is, so your reasons are based on the ethical principles of ethics, right? Or anything that has an ethical perspective. So I see the usual GS kind of answer, even during the course of action. Why you want to pursue certain course of action should be based on strong ethical justification. So I would like to see ethics concepts, the ideas and thoughts of moral philosophers, right? The teachers, administrators, from the ethical perspective, right? Such kind of cases that have been solved, given judgment by the Supreme Court or the High Courts, or maybe some other country, right? So then there are like jurists and political scientists. They also might have certain ethical perspective ideas. So these are the opportunities every test to learn something new and add more, do more value addition for each and every answer. And in section A, I keep telling it is a condensed version of essay paper, 150 word. So when the questions are open ended, more subjective, they're not direct question. So basically what you are writing in 1200, you are condensing it in 150 word. There should be little bit of analysis, one or two dimensions, right? A good introduction, good conclusion. It should not be just one story or two story and ending the answer. Mere justification of the question, right? So again, I see people not answering questions based on the directive word. Discuss as the same answer, examine as the same answer, analyze as the same answer, comment as the same answer. So the structuring needs to be different according to the directive word. And you might think that, again, some toppers have advised, these do not matter in the end. Every question should have positive, negative, and way forward. No, that is not how you write your answers, right? So the answer should be totally based on the demand of the question. The demand of the question is based on two levels. One, the topic in the question, and the directive word. The why we say this word directive, because it creates a specific demand, right? A specific thought process. So we usually don't address that, and we think that just putting some content related to the question will take care of the answer. But the evaluator is aware whether it is analysis or whether it is just mere examination, whether it is comment or critically comment, whether it is enumerate or elucidate or explain, right? So the evaluator is actually aware of this. When I am evaluating, I am looking at it. Analysis and discuss must have multiple parts, right? So each part should be linked with each other. There should be a flow within it. There should be comment plus its analysis. So when there is comment, your opinion should be highlighted. That should be the core of your answer. And followed with the reasoning, why you have certain opinion, right? The reasons must be given for your opinion. Some questions will ask, no, do you agree or do you don't agree? Yes or no. You can start with, in ethics, you can start with, yes, I agree. There is nothing wrong in, using the first person pronoun. I agree with something. And the reasoning is most important, right? So examine, comment, discuss, analyze. The reasoning part is very important. Discuss is more comprehensive. It is at the apex. Discuss, right? At the basic level is the explain. Explain or elucidate. Elucidate is simplifying the meaning. Explain is explaining it further. Again, it is simplification, but you are expanding it, right? So discuss is, the question might ask only discuss, might give a statement and then discuss. So you have to create a multiple parts, including the challenges, right? The issues, the way forward, the solutions, suggestions, why of it, how of it. Very small parts. When it is just a statement and discuss. Sometimes they will give two parts and then they give discuss. But in the two parts, the way forward is not asked. But compulsorily you have to write the way forward when there is discuss, right? So analysis, you divide that issue into multiple parts of its constituents, whether it is democracy, whether it is secularism, whether it is smart agriculture, whether it is something related to quantum computing, its constituents. And the introduction is not the place where you write the definition. Many people write definition and they showcase it as the introduction. Definition is not introduction. When you are not able to think of an introduction, you end up writing 2 or 3 random things, that is quoting random number or data or writing an introduction to the most familiar keyword in the question, right? Some most familiar keyword or a dominant keyword that is there in the question, you start with its definition, right? There is a general introduction to the entire answer, 2 line introduction, or sometimes it may be 1 line introduction, which is thoughtful and analytical, not repetition of the question. It is saying something new related to the demand of the question, right? It can be your opinion also. It can be a core idea that you want to later examine and analyze in the question. You may be putting it. Then second comes the background part, where some questions require slight little context, right? You may want to tell the context why this question is important, right? Second, the concept, right? So even if the concepts are not explicitly asked, right, define something. After introduction, the little space between the beginning of your body, right, answering the first part of your answer, and between the introduction there is a little space where you need to clear your concepts. 1 line followed by example. Any definition must always be followed by an example, even if it is not asked. People write definition but there is no example, right? So it can be one concept in some questions, it can be 4 concepts in some questions, right? So it is better to, in a very specifically in minimum words, better to clear your concepts there. I mean, clear your concept means clearly, you know uh, let evaluator know that your concepts are clear, basically, right? So that is the basics part you have taken care in the answer, the foundation, right? The foundation you have taken care, then you are building the answer on a solid foundation of clear concept. That itself will fetch you 30% of the marks. The very, structuring this way will fetch, because the evaluator is happy, he is not randomly answering, he is not cooking up the answer, he is not dishonest, he is not making up something here. It is he knows his concepts, he is aware of the importance of the question, right? He is aware of the context of the question. So then in the body you may forget few points, you may, you know uh, you may not be able to fully do justice to the question, but that is excused, right? Because, it may demand some 8 to 10 important point, you might end up writing, 5 to 6 important point, but still you are rewarded, right? And then the conclusion part. Conclusion is, most of the times it is random, for the sake of concluding, people write some conclusion. And most of the times conclusion, the point in conclusion is borrowed from the body of the answer, or sometimes it is just the way forward, the conclusion, right? See, if you have understood the demand of the question correctly, right, the context of the question, significance of the question, and what you have written in the body, the conclusion is most of the times is organic. You naturally write something new in the conclusion, right? It can be the futuristic, it can be another significance, right? Right. Sometimes we say conclusion, but it is inconclusive, right? Especially in the essay part, I tell people in the conclusion, write something inconclusive argument or an idea, something open-ended, right? That allows the reader to think further about it, right? Or something like makes, exclamatory mark, exclaim, a totally new insight, a new thought, something like that. But in GS answers, you will not have that much, space to think and everything. But in the conclusion, you have to close your answer in such a way that the reader should get the full satisfaction, right? That the answer end to end, it is totally answered. The moment you repeat something in the conclusion, I am aware it is a repetition, right? Because I would have read your answer with focus and concentration. It is not, the mere reading. So the conclusion part never repeat a single word, a single idea from your answer. So the conclusion varies from the demand of the question, from question to question to question, right? You cannot keep standard conclusion for every topic in Indian polity or every topic in environment and keep writing the same, right? So I mean, I'm not taking an example. So I hope you understand the crux of my argument, right? What I want to say. So now and then you can come and show one or two GS answers. So my content is not good. I mean, I'm not totally updated with every topic the way, let us say, our GS faculties are updated. But I'm good with respect to guiding you the quality of introduction, structuring, presentation, right? Because when I read a question, there is a specific interest and specific demand that is generated. I want to be satisfied based on my curiosity. So that I am expecting in your answer. So with respect to that, I can definitely guide you. And this is very important. Again, this competition, more or less everyone is doing answer writing practice. Some degree of practice is there. And how do you differentiate? Right? Initially, I talked about there is a base mark, and then upon that, you have to improve. Here, core batch practice will help you speed, efficiency, and everything. But now, these things, good introduction, good conclusion, right? Exact demand of the question, according to the directive, using the directive words in your answer also. Maybe you can say analysis of something if the question is analyzed in your subheading, right? So that's very important for me. Never ignore your basics. The last thing I would like to say is that in the beginning also I talked about in the orientation, as we move deeper into this papers through practice and into preparation, we tend to leave behind the basic things, basic books, basics and everything, right? So every test, every day, keep going back to basics, right? Because I talked about writing the concepts. You will not be able to write the concept thing or background thing for every answer you write, in 20 question paper, right? So you out of 20 questions, maybe 3 4 you'll be perfectly aware, right? Can you increase that quantity there, right? So going back to basics, being aware of basics consistently, I think out of 20, for more number of answers, you can showcase the strong basics, right? So when you do that, then again the base marks in your case will be more than what is there for general people, right? Again, when you write points, the points must be validated, right? Justified, substantiated. So that also I see random example. If you're writing 5 points, 1 or 2 points you write example, other points you don't, right? Sometimes example itself is the point, right? There is no difference between an idea and a fact, right? Argument and example. So you have to be aware of it when you are writing, whether you are writing example as a point or you are writing a point and then writing example, right? You cannot just bluff, I mean, write something and then submit the paper, right? This is a civil service examination. Excellence is something that is, it used to be like that earlier time. Now it is deteriorated. Thanks to coaching institutions, thanks to toppers, right? Thanks to all substandard material that is there in the competition, right? So the people, again, nowadays I'm visiting universities, colleges. I come across excellent, top quality professors who say that they are going for evaluation. Evaluation is conducted by top most professors in the country, best professors in their respective disciplines, right? So they expect a better quality, right? So these are the thoughts I wanted to share. So wish you all the best. Thank you.